This is something that I've learned a lot, how to manage not girls or boys. This is how to manage human beings. Energy for me, this is the most important as a human being. How you can create positive energy. I want to achieve something. I want to transmit and convince people about a way of living. This is the connection that I try to transmit on the pitch. We play the same way that we live.
Hi, and welcome to Manager Stories, where we spotlight the great minds that are shaping modern football through unique and unorthodox journeys. Today, we're joined by Wilfried Nancy. From France to Montreal, from Montreal to Columbus, from youth development to winning the MLS Cup, his journey is inspiring and it's unique. Thanks for joining us, Wilfried.
No, it's a pleasure.
I think where would be great to start would maybe be go back to one of the first chapters, which is your playing career in France. I guess what I'd like to know is what motivated you to chase that dream of becoming a footballer and having a football career for...
I didn't think about having a dream. It was just something that I liked. Simple as that. You know, I have two kids and this is not the same generation because I was not playing games that the way they play, you know, with the PlayStation and so on. I was all the time out playing soccer in front of my building. And when it was dark, my mom was trying to look for me and to tell me that, hey, you have to go home because I was going to school. At school, I was playing football. After school, I was playing football. And at night, I was playing football. So it comes naturally, I would say, because I have this passion and this desire to just have fun with my friends.
Did you also watch a lot of football, like just consume everything football?
When I was young, no, because I was, you know, in my neighborhood, we were playing also, obviously football, but a lot of different sport, I would say. So, and coming from France, Toulon was also a lot of rugby. So I enjoy playing different kind of sport. And after that, I would say around 15 years old, I started to really... I watch a lot of games, and it was something that I really enjoyed. So it came from that, and step by step after that, the classic evolution. You know, with the academy, I was playing for a smaller team, and after that, Toulon, the big club of my city, contacted me, so I went over there, and after that, it started from there.
During that playing career, was there a moment that you remember where you were thinking, actually, I'd like to go into coaching?
Yes, towards the end. Around 22 years old, because I started to get my badges. So I started to play in second division around 17 years old or 18 years old, something like that. And after that, so you know a bit my story, back and forth. And I knew that I would not become a League One player. So I started to get my badges. And at the same time, I was doing also practice, you know, with the U7, U8, U10.
At Toulon?
Yeah, Toulon, okay. And also all the club where I've been. So because I knew that it was something that I like, and I started from there.
So you started youth development quite young in your career while you're also playing football?
Yes, because I figured out that I was not good enough to play in first division.
And you liked football, so it made sense.
Exactly.
Okay, then we can maybe fast forward quickly to your relocation to Montreal. Yeah. I read that you had family based in New York and you had a 2-week period in Montreal where I think it was a friend, was it, who said this is a place you should check out? And what was did you have a job set up when you landed in 2005?
No. So the way it happened is, like you said, my brother, my best friend was there 1 year before, and he told me about the possibility to live here because Montreal is a beautiful city and also a lot of open-minded people and so on. So I knew that I wanted to try something else, and so I said, yeah, why not? So when I went over there for vacation, I met one guy, and he's been a good friend also of mine, and he told me that, hey, I can find you a job because I wanted to coach, but you have to play for me with the university at least one session. So I said, okay, why not? So I came back, and after that, boom, I started to do it like that. So everything happened so quick, and I didn't think about it. The idea was, let's try it, because I've been traveling a lot in my life, as you read, and I knew that in the future I will live somewhere in the world. You know, I love France, and but I knew that. So, and this is what happened. And starting from there.
And you started in youth development. I also heard that you coached an under 14s girls team.
Yeah,
which I'd say was probably tough.
Yes.
I have a daughter now. I'm not looking forward to the teenage years.
Yeah,
you know.
for me too.
So what was that like, I guess, in terms of what was the biggest learnings you got from that experience?
Yeah, it was amazing. To be honest, all the experiences that I had is helped me to become who I am today. Because again, the idea was to discover something new. So I said, why not? Why not? Okay, you 14 girls, why not? So I'm going to try it. And it was one of my best experience. Because again,
did you play a back three?
No, back four, but I changed a lot. But since now, this is something that I've learned a lot, how to manage not girls or boy, or woman or men. This is how to manage human beings. And for me was unbelievable, because again, I have a daughter also 13 years old. I needed to adjust my body language. I needed to adjust a lot of things. And because of that, it allowed me to transmit in a different ways. And honestly, it's been a really good experience, and we did well. And after that, I started also to work because at this time the academy was not existed. So I was working for a soccer school, I would say, but regional soccer school. And everything went well. And after that, boom, Montreal decided to get the academy. So I've been contacted, and I started from there.
And then from there, assistant manager with Thierry Henry. Then Thierry Henry, I think, goes back to London, and you become the manager of Montreal. What was that like?
Beautiful moment. It was also difficult, because it was not the first time that I was supposed to become the coach of the Montreal, but it happens quickly. So I didn't have a lot of time, but because of my background, because of the experience that I had with the academy, and also as an assistant coach, I was ready for that. So I didn't have the time to think. I just, okay, let's do it. And I was pretty happy with the way we started. But again, for me, the best formation was the fact that I was with different coaches as an assistant coach, and different personality, and it helped me to understand, what does it mean to become a coach. Because in the beginning, for me, to be a coach, you had to be good tactically, but I understood that no, this is not the case. You have to be good tactically, technically, mentally, and understand people. So you have to take care of the human being, and you have to be demanding with the players. So, and because of all my experiences, I was able to understand that. And after that, I had my vision, and I said, let's go. And it was like this a bit, but at the end of the day, I am really proud of the way I handled this situation.
I'd like to speak a little bit more later about your coaching philosophy, or philosophy even just as a human being. But before we get to that, Montreal, you did ups and downs, but it was largely a success. And from there, Columbus gave that call. I imagine that's quite on a human level, you're thinking about relocating with your young family and wife, and also on a professional level, it's a new challenge. What was it about the Columbus challenge that made you say, yes, I'm going to do this?
The vision. Again, with a lot of humility, I had the possibility of have offers, and when I put everything on the table with my wife and my family, it was a no-brainer to come here, because of obviously, first of all, the people that I work with, because for me this is the most important. You can be in with really nice facility or with a lot of money and so on. But if you have no connection with the people that we work with, it's useless. So for me, it was important, and also the vision. And this is a mix between, obviously, we have to win games. This is our job. We have to win. We know that. So for me, it was not the most important. It was more about how they want to win. And the how was, I saw a lot of correlation with the way I think and with the way I am as a person, and also with the way I am as a coach. So that's why for me it was a no-brainer to come here.
Mm-hmm. I was walking around today in the rain, which you can probably see in the background.
You know that this is the bad time for us, but usually it's beautiful here.
Yeah. Everyone's been saying it to me. I was telling them it reminds me of Ireland, the green fields and the rain.
No.
But everyone's been saying it's not always like this. But I went to the fan shop and I was speaking with the people in the shop, and they were telling me, they're really friendly, telling me the whole story about it, and I had a real kind of community feeling.
Yes.
I had a feeling that this was a really important part of the community, and and I guess that's something that's quite exciting as well as a project when you see the human level.
Yeah, for sure. And also, again, our job is the job that I do. I'm not saying that I'm lucky because there is a lot of work behind that, but this is not normal. And for me, this is really important also to, when I jump in a new project, I have to understand the culture. I have to understand why this club wants me, why, what happened in the past, and so on. So, and for me, Columbus, because of the story, because as you know, a few years ago, this club could have been erased, I would say. So, and when I read about it and when I did my research, I was like, hey, there is something to do here. And to be honest with you, the first time when I came here in Columbus, I told my wife, I think the first time was in 2015, we will not come here because this is not so nice, the city. And because the hotel that we had was horrendous, and they did that on purpose. And after that, we started to change the hotel maybe 3 or 4 years later. And now I started to discover a little bit more the city. And the fact that I am here now, again, there is a saying, there is a kind of code that I don't know exactly, but the meaning is you have to leave the situation to understand, And this is a beautiful city because a family city, and also there is a soccer culture. And for me, this is so important because I don't play for people because I play in a straight way for myself to have emotion, but people are really important for me because we want to create a connection. And because of them, we can have more challenges, we can have memory, we can create legacy. So we play also for them, and I felt that. And the first game that I had here was unbelievable, what they did for me and for the staff and also obviously for the team. So yeah, the culture is here, the culture is present, and this is important.
That's great. Makes me want to work here if you guys now I'd like to speak a little bit more about your coaching philosophy. I guess we can maybe look at examples more specific to things that have happened at Columbus. I'll quote you again from another thing that I watched. You said your philosophy kind of starts with, or one of the places you start with is coach the person you are. Yeah. I'd love to understand a little bit more about what you mean by that.
Because at the end of the day, we are all unique. I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you asking me the question and you are not able to do the job at this guy? Because maybe you have your quality on this position and him could be the opposite. I don't know. So what I mean is to be able to give emotions, to be able to transmit something, to be able to empower people, you have to get emotion. And to have emotion, you have to feel it in your soul. And that's why for me, you have to be yourself. Because if you try to be another person that you are not, one moment, players that are not stupid, they're going to say, hey, there is something weird. So at the end of the day, I have to be at peace with myself. And because of my background, because of my background positively and negatively, I became someone that I want to achieve something. I want to transmit and convince people about a way of living, a way of life. And for me, this is the connection that I try to transmit on the pitch. We play the same way that we live. And it comes from, like I said, my background. So for me, it was easy to apply it. But it was difficult to create all the correlation between what I think and how I can transmit to do it. And that's why for me, my job is beautiful because first of all, I respect myself. And for me, it's really important also to have a fulfillment. I like to say that fulfillment for me is to be aligned with your action, your thought, and your values. And if I have these three things, I am at peace with myself. Means that we can go forward, means that we're gonna have a difficult moment, but we can learn from that. We're gonna have good moments, we can learn from that. So at the end of the day, everything is positive, knowing that this is not all the time the case, but my point is there is the growth mindset behind that. And for me, this is the most important.
I think it's really interesting. I think you said part of the challenge, I guess, was the communication of clarity, being able to communicate all the different moving parts and how people receive. But if I guess the growth starts with yourself, that also takes a certain level of self-awareness. Is that something you can teach?
This is something that you have to be aware of. And I did this exercise maybe 10 years ago where I wanted to know myself a little bit more. And by doing that, it helps me to avoid wasting my time because we are all unique. So you're gonna be together, we're gonna go to a restaurant. Maybe I will enjoy it, good food and so on, and maybe you're gonna say, you know what, the food was not so good for me. Okay, but at the end of the day, we were together. So, and for me, this is the beauty of life. This is how, knowing nobody, you get people coming to play for the same club with different personality, and you have to share a common vision, one vision. Wow. So, and clarity for yourself, it has to start from you because there is a lot of pressure. Players, they all want to play. As you know, in this, I like to say that also in my job, we study a lot to get to become a coach. As you know, not a lot of people can become coach, but there is a lot of people who didn't study, who talk a lot. And like Mourinho said, I don't understand. Me, I study a lot when I was young and so on to achieve what I am doing. But when people work for La NASA and they do something, nobody talk about what they do. But us, everybody talking about this. So again, I have to accept that because this is part of my job. So I have to be confident. But at the same time, I have also to balance with the humility because if I'm not humble, I'm going to get slapped every time. So again, if I'm not confident, you will not fight for me, or we will not play for me, or we will not try to reach the 1% extra. But at the same time, I have to accept that I don't know everything and I'm learning and I learn every day. So find this balance with that. But clarity for me is important about the way, how we want to do it. But clarity also with myself, because energy for me, this is the most important as a human being. How you can create positive energy and how you can deal with bad energy.
I think what you said resonates a lot with one of the staff that I met who was working in the store. He was a fan since '96, and he was saying you came up naturally, and he was saying the Nancy era is like the happiest footballing period I've had, and it's changed the way I watch football. And I asked him what he felt was, your biggest strength watching as a fan. And he said it's the psychology or something that you've done in terms of communicating to the players, where players who were consistent contributors are now some of the best players in the league. And then he was talking about how like some players have changed position. I think it was Amundsen swapped from left back to left centre back. So I have a lot of questions around that. The first one is, how do you identify those opportunities in players that you've met and say, oh, this player could serve a different role, even though the previous maybe 20 years of their career they've done something else? How do you get that buy-in into your model, and quickly?
Yeah, the idea is again, because of my background as a student of the game and also the academy and so on, I did a lot of experiences, and also with when I was assistant coach. So I was taking note all the time, and I figured out that first of all, the no-brainer for me is joy. I've been in different situations that we had joy and we didn't have joy. And joy for me is not like a smile, try to smile every day. No, I'm not the type of guy. But this is more about be happy about what we are doing, what we do, because the idea is to become all the time a better me. So yesterday we did something, today is it big about what we learned, can we do something better? And this growth mindset, for me, this is so important. So everything is connected with the way I see human being and the way we play. So there is 3 criteria really important for me as a profile. So the first one is effort. So you have to make the effort. It's normal. If you don't do it, you are out. The second is audacity. Be audacious, because I believe that if you are audacious in life, you're going to get the rewards. If I start here and I want to go there, even though I'm not able to reach where you are, I'm going to learn a lot of things. I'm going to become better. So the game is about this. Can we try things? Because again, I'm going to go back to what I said before: fulfillment, emotions. And the last one is brain, because my game is all about a lot of nuances, like life. The gray zone, this is not black and white in life. This is the gray zone all the time. So the idea is to challenge my players in these 3 criteria. And the most important is now, who do we want to become? And the values are more important than the style of play, because I need people who want to try things. If they have a fixed mindset, it's difficult. I tried, but it's difficult one moment, because they're going to say, no, the ego is going to be too difficult for them, because I don't want to make mistakes. So the idea is to find the balance and to challenge and to support at the same time the players when they try things. And the most important also is clarity in not the game model, because the game model, this is general, but in the concept that we have. And because in my mind, this is clear about, I simplify the complexity of the game. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I am the best coach and so on. No, I figured out that I had tools to simplify the game to transmit to my players. So the how, I try to simplify it. And the fact that I'm able to simplify the how gives more freedom to the player to try stuff. And because of that, because of the environment that we have here, that you come here, this is the best environment that we can have in your life to try things, because you won't be judged. Because when you go out, everything that you're going to do, I'm going to give you an example. Now I am a bit more famous. In the past, I really enjoyed to do grocery. Now, if I do grocery, I have to get a nice haircut. Because I want picture. And if I say no, they're going to say, the coach now, but I like to do that. But one day I took a picture and my wife saw it. What a mistake, because my hair was like that and so on. So I'm going to be judged. But here I can come with my hair like this, no problem with that. So this is the feeling that I want to transmit, that guys, come here. The way we want to play is clear, but how are we going to do it? I will challenge you. And the fact that I will challenge you, but I will support you also, but I will challenge you, I'm pretty convinced that it's going to help you on the pitch. So you play left back. I know that you can play center back, because in the way we play, there is no clear position the way we attack, because this is the final product. But in the beginning, yes, you have to respect your position. So step by step, there is connection between the year 1, the year 2, the year 3. Like everyone, don't get me wrong. But the way we do it is all about concept. So, and my definition of the game is try to get a common sense play, a logical play. So, and when we add all these kind of things, we can be complex, but because of the fact that I've been an assistant coach for many years, I had the time to reflect. So I try to simplify all these kind of things. And at the end of the day, the big quote and the big picture that I have in my mind, the way I want to coach and our philosophy is creativity within the structure. So you have to express yourself. If you don't express yourself, you cannot play for me.
Do you think, I saw that quote as well, and I had a question about, in terms of, to me it feels quite clear how you can communicate, or it seems a little more manageable to be able to communicate the structure, but the freedom, how, like, does that bring fulfillment, I guess, to the players? And to me that maybe is harder to control if you need to control it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but to be honest, on this one I cannot explain really, because a lot of people ask me this question, and also ask myself this question. And I think that it comes from my background, because my dad and mom were doing a lot of events. You know, my mother was working also in, how can I say that in English? Ice tan brand, you know, and she was doing modeling also, some stuff like that.
Luxury brand.
Yeah, exactly. You know, she was also doing a lot of stuff to create, you know. And my dad was doing he started from nothing, but he did also big events, you know, and it was all about art. And I think that I've grown with that. And this is something natural. So again, with a lot of humility, I am a coach, don't get me wrong, but I want to create art. And art for me, I'm not Picasso, I'm just Wilfried. And my point is, I want to create things. And for me, this is important to transmit that, to get into this kind of area. And for me, creativity is, I'm going to try to say it well in English, is intelligence, people having fun. So just have fun, but with a common sense. So if we move, we have to do it together. And by doing that, they're going to understand that we are all linked on the pitch. And after that, they're going to be able to adjust. Because why, for me, it's important? Because nowadays, this is not like I was playing. There is less time and space on the pitch. And one moment, we have to create something. But to create something, we need a structure. And within the structure, if my players know that within the structure, if I have the ball in this position, I should and I could give you the ball. But now, because we know the structure, I'm going to use you as a decoy because of my creativity in the moment. And because of that, boom, we're going to be able to do things that I didn't plan. And after that, it happens that sometimes we start a session, the session is planned, I saw a movement, a link between players, guys, stop, we're going to start from there. And I'm going to take this action and we're going to work on that. And this is a constant evolution about what I see. And the idea is to have a time edge on the opposition, is to create time on the opposition and to keep this time and to try to attack the box. So it's a constant evolution. So that's why I call it the infinite game. It doesn't stop. We have a certain way to play, but this year, I'm going to give you an example. This year, we do rotation with all the players. I mean, on the pitch, you know, we move together on the pitch. The first year, it was only the back line. The second year was the front line. And the third year is everybody. So this is the evolution that I try to put in place. And that's why you can see a center back plays number 9. But at the end of the day, is now how we're going to be able to balance that.
I like that idea that some of the ideas or tactical setups have come from spontaneity in the training from a day to day.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. You touched on, I guess, your setup now is there's a lot of rotation between players and positions from back line to front line. You started the season really, really well. You said in another interview, I'm sounding a bit like a stalker here actually, but that the MLS, the trending setup of the MLS is kind of a Bielsa style of pressing, and once the press is broken, it's low block, kind of Diego Simeone style.
Yeah.
Is that still the case this season?
Against us, yes.
Yeah.
Because again, this is the way we play, and that's why I'm happy to play the way I want to play, because I learn a lot every game, because we face a new opposition, a new style of play, and I learn something, because everybody wants to compete, and everybody wants to beat everyone. So at the end of the day, they try to find ways to stop the way we play, and this is so amazing, because yes, I prepared the game, because it is important for me to know the opposition, but at the same time, I need to focus on my team, because they will not play the same way that they played the game before, because we play in a specific way. So we have to adjust. So we faced high press team in the beginning. They were low block and try to counter attack, because we attack the small spaces and we defend the big space. So they wanted to be low block and counter attack. But now also they changed, because they saw that we do a good job also to unbalance the team. But they want to press really high now. And sometimes, like I said, we were able to break the press. But after that, we didn't attack the box well. And the fact that we didn't attack, that we don't attack the box well, we are losing the ball. And after that, there is a counter-attack. So we've been killed a lot of time like this. So now it's all about momentum. And this is something that it came naturally, that I was not talking to the player the first year. It was that to leave this situation. So now, if we break the press, is it possible to attack the box and to finish the action? If we cannot, is it possible to stay high and to install and to be able to give the time to my back line to step up and to travel as a team? Because if we don't do that, tactically, we know that most of the goal comes from transition. Boom, they play the ball in behind and we are dead. So the idea was we can counter that. Not by playing more defensively, by attacking more, but to be more balanced. So that's why everything came from the opposition and the tools that I give to the players, and also the tool that the player gives me, like regarding what they feel on the pitch and so on. So this is all the time. I'm going to give you an example. We played San Jose. It was a man-to-man, high press. So we had to rotate a lot, without being unbalanced. And we faced Charlotte, was one of the best teams, and they play zone. And it was totally the opposite. And now we have to be patient and to stay in our position to get the ball. We don't have to get to the ball. The ball has to come to the players, So that's why this is all this kind of thing that, for me, this is amazing, because, first of all, for my staff and myself, we become better. And also for my players, this is more adversity. And I can use this to challenge them and to get better.
Is there... maybe you don't want to answer this, but is there an MLS team where you feel you haven't quite cracked the code yet for that team?
No, listen, to be honest, and this is not cliche what I'm going to say, but there is no easy game in MLS, because now this is not like the past where we had an old player. We have young team and they run. So what team try to do also is to, instead of having their... Sometimes they're gonna keep the best team, the team that they used to play, that they play, but sometimes they're gonna put more runners in the middle to try to counter us, But again, we try to find a way. But again, this is so difficult. That's why I don't take anything for granted, because every game, this is a new challenge. This is a new way to attack, a new way to defend, a new way also to get better. And we try I'm going to be straightforward, but like I said to my players, guys, my job is not for us to win games, because we have to win games. If we don't win games, we are out. We don't have a contract. I'm going to get fired, going to get out, and so on and so on.
It's the non-negotiable.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
And like I like to say, I know nobody that would like to lose. So most of the time, this is the situation. So we try to seek to improve all the time, seek for improvement all the time. This is something that we can control. And after that, yes, we want to win, but again, we want to have a good performance, and we want to keep our standard, to maximize our chance to win. This is the way we think. So that's why we have to adjust at a certain moment. So every game for me, we don't play against a name. I don't mind to play against Cincinnati, against Detroit, against LA. I play against a different style of play. They don't play the same way. And after that, yes, Cincinnati, this is the rivalry. So this is important for the fan. This is important for the club. This is important for everyone. But my point is not, the focus is not on that. The focus is, okay, they play this way, style of play this way. Okay, what can we do to counter them? What can we do to stay who we are, but by adding maybe something different, or to stay the same, and so on and so on and so on. This is more about this.
You kind of spoke about the change this season, and that now there's more rotation up front. What do you feel what's the ceiling, if you like, for this season? Like, do you set targets for the team beyond winning? Like, do you set like tactical targets for them, or certain growth targets?
Sure. Yes, every day. Every day. I'm not a big fan of
seasonal goals.
Rob is here, but I discovered the position, but I don't know the ranking where we are. For me, the most important is to try to reach 13 wins, 14 wins as soon as possible, because it means that we're going to make the playoff. And after that, when we start from there, is to go all in, So
it's game by game.
Yeah, but game by game, but we have the vision. So, and I like to break down also the season in 3 or 4 cycles. What does it mean? It means that every 10 or 12 games, we do a cycle with the players to tell them that where we are, what we did, where we are, and what is coming. So the last cycle that we had was about how we attack when we face a low block. What can we do better? What tool we can use a little bit more to face a low block? We saw that we conceded 6 goals by making mistakes, individual mistakes, but also counter-attack. How we can get better on that, So we score more goals than the last 3 years that I'm here. But we have a lot of expected goals. So again, is it possible to score more goals? Defensively, we did a good job, but is it possible? So all the time, this is on the how we can become better, and not the results, because the results, I cannot control it. What I control is the way we're going to do to become better. So for me, it's easier to be really demanding with the player, because I like to tell them that don't take it personally. Is because we have high standards, and I have to be honest with you and also with myself. And after that, I have to find, obviously, the good management between each different personality. But at the end of the day, clarity is important and honesty is important, individually but also collectively. And by being like this, you can maximize your chance to help people to become better. Because I want to take ownership about, I'm not playing, they are playing, they play. So me, with my staff, we try to give them tools, but also there is certain things that, no, we don't do that here. But at the same time, if you try, why not? So this is really the environment and also the performance, how we can analyze the performance, not the results. There is no ranking in the facility. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the screens. They're all very organized. We were saying we should have some of these for our own office. It reminds me a little bit of like the actor who never watches the film that they've played in.
Yeah.
It's more about the challenging and the experience as opposed to the
because like I like to say, again, we can discuss for many hours for that, but life is about challenges. If you don't have challenge in your life, this is boring. Apparently, someone of your group told me that to come here, it was difficult because the weather and so on. But the fact that we are doing now this interview, we feel good and so on, everything is good. So life is about challenge. So, and we have to find a way to embrace that. And if you don't have challenge, it's boring. And I did a lot of, this is not the good word, but I'm happy to have 2 kids. And sometimes my job goes over education, so I like to experiment a lot of things with them. So when my son 2 years old or 4 years old and my daughter 2 years old and 4 years old, when they are too confident to play a game, they are like this and they play. It's boring. But as soon as I put a new challenge, hey, I want to be part of that. So again, I think that it's all about try to find the balance between this
and fulfillment, I guess.
For me, this is important. This is so important.
You won the MLS Cup 2023, and then afterwards, a couple of months later, you wrote an article on the MLS website where you talked about a feeling of, pride and accomplishment, but also frustration being the first black head coach to win the MLS. And there was a quote that really resonated with me at the end, which was, now I feel that I've written my story, and it's a story that I feel others can hear and take inspiration from. My question is, imagine, years and decades from now, you're sitting on a porch in Ohio looking across nice green fields. How would you like what would you like them to take away from that story?
I'm going to give you an example, and I think that this is could be your answer. A few days ago, I was walking, and someone stopped me. And I don't know, it was a bit emotional, and I said, he told me, "Hey, coach, how are you?" I said, "I'm fine." And he said, "Thank you." I said, "Okay, thank you for what?" And he said, "Just thank you." And I said, "Yeah, you're welcome, but I would like to know why, because I did nothing." And he said, "Yeah, you did a lot of things, you inspired me." And to be honest, I was like in tears, because I have goosebumps when I talk about this, because I am only a coach. I'm not someone who saved life and so on. But what I've learned is I do an exceptional job, and I've learned that I can be a voice. And I've learned that the only way to do something in this planet, in this world, is to contribute to something. And because of my job, I was able to do it. And when I saw an old lady stop me and telling me that, and after that I discussed with her, obviously, and she told me that she has 3 and 4 kids and so on and so on, and she has a good job and so on and so on. I was like, oh, wow. It could have been the opposite. It could have been something totally different. So for me, I think that, yes, I won the MLS Cup, but again, for me, I could have won the MLS Cup, but I could have been also, with a lot of humility, a person that nobody likes. And at the end of the day, I don't live for people, but again, perspective is everything. And for me, this is important, that the only tool that I have is education. So I try to be like that. And the most important is to be myself. And also, if I can add something positive to help people to become better person, I'm going to be happy. And the other part is also the non-negotiable stuff that I would like to do also is, I am a dad. So I would like that in the future, that when my kids going to say, hey, I am the son or the daughter of Wilfried Nancy, so people is going to be like, okay, I'm going to take care of you because of what your dad did, So for me, it's going beyond winning games or losing games. It's all about who I want to become, and if I can add 0.0009% of compassion, I would say.
I think, well, from walking around Columbus today and speaking with people, it's more than 0.009.
Thank you.
I don't know what the population of Columbus is, but I know your reach goes beyond that. I'd like to thank you for your time. This was great. And have a great day. Have a great season.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.